What is going down, sourdough squad? Wake up, honey. Brad's going live. We are live. Shout out all the squad. Make sure if you're vibing with your boy, drop an SDS in the chat. Smash that like button if you haven't already. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. We're going to do, what are we doing? We're doing Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We got Instagram. We're going to do Quad Live. So we're going Quad Live right now. And we're going to talk about all the things. Shout out to SDS on Instagram. Shout out to SDS on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Let's go. Like yeast, we rise. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about today. Of course, we understand. Let's start with the big news. We'll start with the big. What is the SDS? You don't know what the sourdough squad is? Come on, bro. Sounding like a real Raider fan. It's okay. It's okay. But anyways, obviously we understand what the news is today. We will start with the Alex Mack news. It's a decision that we've been waiting for some time. We have been waiting to hear about, is Alex Mack returning or is he not? We have confirmation today that Alex Mack has retired. Again, bittersweet because we do tip our cap to Alex. I couldn't be more thankful to have Alex Mack a part of the San Francisco 49ers last year. His importance to the team, the offensive line in general, the offense as a whole it's almost immeasurable with how impactful he was. Alex Mack, because I've talked about it many, many times. I've talked about this many times. When you look at the 49ers offensive line, you go back to 2020 and you look at Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson. I think we had Hornus Grasu for a little bit at center. We had Brunskill and McGlinchey. Pretty much the same offensive line that we had in 2021. The difference was you plug in Alex Mack into the center of it all. That group that had struggled in 2020 automatically became a top 5 unit in the NFL in 2021. So again, just the importance of Alex Mack. We are going to miss him. The next conversation then turns to who replaces Alex Mack. How is that going to look? What is that transition going to look like? I think that transition is going to look a little bit like Brunny. You know, the hive is buzzing. I'm feeling, again, we got Jake Brendel, we got Sutherland, you got Nick Zakel, 6th-round draft pick, you got Donovan West, you got Poe. There's a lot of options, but if you had to ask me, I would feel comfortable with having the most veteran presence at the center of the offensive line. I would just feel more comfortable having a veteran at center. Now, it doesn't mean it can't work any other way. There's definitely going to be a bunch of ranges of outcomes that we look at when we start to dive into the offensive line, what the offensive line is going to look like. Obviously, we know the bookends is going to be McGlinchey. It's going to be Trent Williams. You pop in onto that interior, no more Laken, no more Alex Mack. You still got Brunskill, but Brunskill kind of feels like he could be either right guard or center. And then you have Aaron Banks, by all accounts, who's going to take over that right guard spot, which is what we want. And by everything that we've heard from him, his offensive line coach, and everyone who's gotten some insight, he's added muscle mass, gotten quicker, body looks good, changed his body composition. So Aaron Banks looks poised to be starting at left guard. And so really trying to figure out what that center right guard combo is going to be, whether they keep Brunskill at right guard, start one of these, Brendel, Sutherland, Poe, West. It's going to be spicy. I cannot wait to get to training camp and watch it all. Speaking of training camp, and a little bit more on Alex Mack before we get to the inconvenient truth and some of the other signings that have occurred today. We've been making moves today. It has been a day where the San Francisco 49ers have been making moves left and right. Feels fun. It's been a while since we got some nice news days like this where we can just go crazy with it. Um, but obviously, with Alex Mack retiring, um, there's going to be more questions with the offensive line. But going back to last year, I remember the first play of training camp. The first play of training camp, I wanted to watch Alex Mack. When they put pads on, they went 11 on 11s. I said, I am watching Alex Mack. Who is Alex Mack going against? He was going up against big Javon Kinlaw. First play of 11 on 11s, padded session in training camp last year. Of course, Alex Mack's first year with the 49ers. And him and Kinlaw went after it like dogs. Mack ended up getting the best of Javon Kinlaw on that first snap. And it just, again, the importance of what Alex Mack brought. And Javon Kinlaw is no slouch. Uh, but Alex Mack was just such a phenomenal piece to have on the offensive line. We're going to miss him. We're absolutely going to miss him. Let's talk about some of the signings that we've got, and we'll of course get to Frank Gore. Want to spend a little bit more time on Frankie G. But in the meantime, the San Francisco 49ers have signed their second round draft pick, Drake Jackson, to a 4-year, $5.8 million deal. So, as we saw earlier this morning, the 49ers were able to kind of convert some of Alex Mack's money to kind of clear cap space. They cleared, I think, approximately over $4 million in cap space by being able to make that move. And as a result, we are now starting to see rookies get signed. We see Drake Jackson get signed. We see fifth round draft pick cornerback Samuel Womack getting signed. We saw just before we hopped on here, um, we saw Danny Gray signed his contract. So that's 3 rookies so far today in the midst of the news that we have in regards to the Alex Mack retirement. On the benefit side of it, they were able to clear up some space, get some of these rookies signed. So there's 3 rookies in the bank for the 49ers. Obviously, we are going to see who else follows after that. But like I said, that's 3. And I would imagine 3 guys who will contribute this year. Someone said, what did Danny Gray get? I think I saw in the range of 5 million. Don't quote me on that, but I saw in the range of about 5 million. I saw some conversations going back and forth about Drake Jackson's contract kind of situation. And I guess I think he took a little bit less money overall to get more guaranteed. I don't know. I'm not a contract guy. I'm not the person you want to go to about contracts. You want to talk offensive line play? Now we're talking. But obviously, a lot of moves being made today. Of course, last night we found out per Cam Inman of the Bay Area News Group that Frank Gore was officially going to retire as a member of the San Francisco 49ers today, which he has done. Frank Gore is in the building currently with the 49ers. Is a pretty beautiful sight to see. If you haven't seen it, I believe Jimmy Ward posted a video of a bunch of players, employees wearing the not Alex Mack, but the Frank Gore shirts and just celebrating the legend. Frank Gore has officially retired as a 49er. He's been inducted into the San Francisco 49ers Hall of Fame, and no more deserving of a player than Frank Gore. I mean, throughout my time of covering the 49ers, I think I'm going on 4 years now. over my 4 years doing this, there is not arguably a more popular 49er than Frank Gore. You mentioned Frank Gore, you say 21, you drop the inconvenient truth. 49er fans just flock. They love Frank, and rightfully so. He is the epitome of what a pro athlete is and should be. The longevity, the fact that he entered the NFL with no ACLs. Let me say that again. The dude tore both of his ACLs at the University of Miami, went on to become, I believe, the third leading rusher all time in the NFL. Just unbelievable career. Frank Gore, I mean, we understand. You've heard from Joe Staley. Joe Staley talks about Frank Gore as being his favorite teammate ever. Um, you know, we know that Frank Gore is tight with Jed York, the organization. If there's any way to get Frank Gore back in the building, can we figure that out? I do remember Frank Gore earlier this offseason. I even believe when he did initially announce that he was going to retire, he did mention that he wanted to be a part of the San Francisco 49ers in some form or fashion. So he mentioned potentially a role in the front office, talked about how he feels he has ability to scout players. So whatever that means, I think anyone would be happy to have Frank Gore in the building again. Uh, Not only the production off the charts, 16,000 rushing yards, but I mean just a good person at the end of the day. Everything that you've ever heard about Frank, only good things. So it's a bittersweet day. It's a bittersweet day. Obviously, we find out, about Alex Mack's retirement. We kind of knew the Frank Gore retirement was coming. Uh, we got some signings with the rookies. It's bittersweet, um, ultimately, but I am happy that Frank Gore is able to sign with the San Francisco 49ers and will be immortalized in the 49ers Hall of Fame. So that is awesome to see. Frank is a legend. I mean, I grew up watching Frank. I'm sure a lot of you guys grew up watching Frank. Um, the tank was absolutely unstoppable. Going back to even those Harbaugh years, when it felt like the offense was Frank, especially early on into the Harbaugh era. Just felt like Frank was a machine, just churning out yards, running in between the tackles, hard nosed football, always running uh, behind his pads, all those types of things. I mean, Frank Gore is a legend. So happy to see him end his career with the San Francisco 49ers. That is a nice thing to see. Um, he ends his career with the 49ers with the franchise rushing record title. He had over 11,000 rushing yards with the San Francisco 49ers. That's better than Joe Perry, Roger Craig, Garrison Hurst, Ken Willard. Some good names there. So Frank Gore, I mean, forever immortalized amongst 49er fans. Um, I would ask you guys, is Frank one of your favorite 49ers of all time? I think, when you look at the list, it's a strong list. Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, Patrick Willis, Joe Staley. Uh, like the list goes on and on in regards to uh, players for the 49ers. But in regards to favorite 49er of all time, I've got a definitely on Instagram. Peyton on YouTube says yes. Um, James said he is my favorite. Uh, one of my favorites in the top 5. I think if you polled and you asked most 49er fans, Frank Gore is squarely in the top 5. Is squarely in the top 5 of favorite 49ers of all time. I think that is to be true. I think that is to absolutely be true. Uh, Not only favorite, but he's up there with top 5 best uh, players of all time. Not for 49ers. But with Frank, I imagine he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I would hope so. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Frank Gore will be a first ballot Hall of Famer? I would imagine yes. It feels like a travesty uh, if he wasn't, but hope so. I hope we get that call. First ballot Hall of Famer. That would be nice. Good old Frank the Tank. Corey Soto, appreciate the super chat, my boy. He says the great debate. Will Gore make it into the Hall of Fame? I think he should be without question, 100% without question. The question is it first ballot or not? But I'm excited, man. I see people shouting out the hat. Shout out Residency. Make sure you go shoot them a follow. Uh, Always taking care of your boy. They got Warriors hats if you need them. They got Giants, San Francisco Giants hats. But we got Dubs tonight. Ooh, we got Dubs tonight. Let's go. I'm hyped. Great day to be a Bay Area sports fan. Great day. Now I get it. Hurts to lose Mac, but we got some rookies signed, and we were able to celebrate Frank Gore and all the legendary vibes that he brings with him. Super, super excited about it. Uh, Always a good day when we can talk about Frank Gore. Details that I didn't get to witness as much of Frank Gore's career. Uh, it was a good one. It was a good career, and I'm glad I got to watch a lot of it. And again, even when the 49ers weren't that good, even when, hey, you guys remember the Nolan years, the Erickson years. You guys remember when we had a little bit of a period of time where, maybe we weren't the best, but we had guys like Frank Gore, Joe Staley, just plowing the way for the future and just setting the culture and just being great competitors, great locker room guys. So fantastic that Frank Gore can retire as a 49er today. Do you guys think, though, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, do you guys think that Frank Gore should get the number 21 retired? Drop it in the chat. I want to see. Do you guys think that the number 21 should be retired? Do you think any other player should be able to don the 21 wearing red and gold? Should it be retired? So far, I got a yes on Instagram. Over here, Boomerat says yes for sure. From Darian, Supreme says yes. Joel says yes. Corey says no doubt. Richard says yes. Retires number. Yes from Sam. Joey says goat. Yes. Yes, 21 should be retired. Yes, 21 should be retired. Oh, we got a nope over here on Instagram. But for the most part, everyone is saying yes. I think we all agree when we see that number 21, all we think about is Frank Gore. All we think about is Frank Gore. But hey, we don't do the 49ers. Do the 49ers have enough numbers? Dion wore 21. Yes, he did. But what was it, 1 year? I mean, and that 21 that Dion wore was legendary. But Gore Gore took 21 and he made it what it is. He made it that legendary 21. Uh and no disrespect to Dion at all. Because Dion made that 21 look good. He made that 21 look good, but the longevity in which Frank Gore played with in that 21, man, I don't know. Again, it's a little bit, you know, a little bit before my generation of being a 49er fan. So I didn't really get to experience the Dion years or year. But I know 21 as being Frank Gore's number. But ultimately, a lot of people think it should be retired. That will be remain to be seen. Again, the 49ers have had so many good players, over the years. Um, someone said Sanders got a ring though. I mean, Gore should have had a ring. Don't bring me back to the PTSD 5 yard line situation in 2012. Don't bring and kick back up that PTSD. Frank Gore should absolutely have a ring right now. Uh, I don't know. I don't want to go too far down the weeds from that because uh, that will kick up some PTSD for sure. Tommy says Erickson was poop emoji and Nolan was toilet seat emoji. Thank you for the super chat, Tommy. Appreciate that. But my goodness. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to drop them in. Jeremiah said, "Oh, Jerry, Warriors. Would you draft Debo in fantasy?" I would, but if we're talking fantasy, what's the ADP looking like? If we're talking fantasy, what is Debo Samuel's ADP looking like? Is it like second round, third round? I don't know. It's kind of rich. It's kind of rich. If we're talking from a fantasy standpoint, I would imagine it's going to be a little bit more even of a spread. I feel like it's going to be a little bit more even of a spread. I think Debo is going to go extremely high in drafts. And I think Brandon Ayuk, his ADP is going to be much lower. So if you're trying to get value, I'm going to go ahead and say the value pick is Brandon Ayuk. If you could go with Debo's probably going to perform and he's going to put up big numbers and he's going to be able to produce for you, but he's going high. You might be able to get similar, maybe equal value by going Brandon Ayuk in the 6th round, 7th round, wherever the heck he's going. But I imagine there's going to be a disparity there. And I do imagine Brandon Ayuk is going to have some run. I think Brandon Ayuk's finally going to thrive. Again, we talked about it, I think, yesterday. We talked about how Trey Lance, the way he matches up, the way he can stretch the field, the way Brandon Ayuk runs deep routes and wins on deep routes consistently. And now you add the fact that Trey is going to push the ball downfield. I think that combo could be nice. So you might want to bet on the value of Brandon Ayuk. I wouldn't be opposed to taking Debo early because I think he will produce, but we don't know. Is he going to play the wide back role? Is he going to get those rushing, is he going to have like a rushing floors or is that going to go away? We don't know. But speaking of Debo, we did hear from John Lynch last night. They had a little event, I believe, in honor of Dwight Clark. And there's a bunch of stuff that was going down last night. But we did hear from John Lynch that, where is it? John Lynch said, quote, "I'd be a fool to trade him. So yes, Debo will be a part of the 49ers this season." And I would go ahead and go out on a limb and say, yeah, I think Debo's going to be a part of the 49ers this season. Um, if he's going to be a 49er beyond that, I think that only we would only know that if Debo Samuel ultimately signs a contract extension. Um, I think with how the new CBA works, Debo is kind of stuck in a hard spot in regards to having any kind of leverage. I don't think, I know for a fact he cannot hold out. If he were to hold out, it would just add another season on to the end. So he kind of has to play regardless, because if he were to hold out and not play this year, it would just prolong the situation out an extra year. So I imagine he's going to play for the San Francisco 49ers. I think it was nice to hear, John Lynch say it and just say he will be a 49er this season. I think it was just some clarity to help, just because there's still a lot of questions surrounding that situation. But I think the clarity of just Debo will be here this year just kind of puts a lot of that speculation to the side. Obviously, we still have to figure out if he will be signing a contract extension, which is what we ultimately want. We ultimately want Debo Samuel to sign uh, a. We ultimately want him to sign a contract extension because that would indicate that he will be here for future years. If I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if Debo Samuel doesn't sign a contract extension and plays this year on his rookie deal, I would imagine he's playing for a payday from someone else. Now, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe the 49ers franchise tag him at the end of that year. But again, that's a situation where I don't think Debo wants to go. I don't think he wants that. I think, he wanted to get paid earlier. He wanted to kind of control his destiny a little bit earlier in the year, but right now it doesn't seem like there's too many options, and I don't think he wants to find himself in a situation where essentially has to play this year on his rookie deal and then ultimately tag and trade him, which is a potential outcome, because I think the 49ers have made it pretty crystal clear that if they have an asset, they're going to get value in return. Again, that would bring up the conversation kind of back to Jimmy Garoppolo, which they've also talked about how they are still attempting to trade him and get him off, move him off the roster. Um, Hold on one second. Okay. I saw something from Matt Mayoka. I wanted to check that. Essentially, talking exactly about what we're talking about. But I think you can look at Jimmy Garoppolo's situation and you can apply it to Debo's situation. They're either going to keep Debo for the long haul, or they're going to get an asset in return, whether that's playing his last year on his rookie deal, a tag and trade situation at the end of it, or getting that contract negotiation figured out. It's probably going to be a little bit more team friendly than he would prefer at this point, but I think that's part of the issue at hand. Is I think his hands are a little tied with the situation, but ultimately, I think I'll ask all you guys. You guys want Debo Samuel for the long haul, right? Like, you don't want him just for next year. You want Debo Samuel for 2, 3, 4 more years, right? You want to see Debo I don't think anyone really wants to see Debo Samuel go anywhere. Obviously, we look at Debo Samuel's impact that he had to the roster last year, the way that he was able to impact and inject the team with just uh, explosive plays that the team was really missing. Uh, I don't think anyone wants Debo to go anywhere. So I would imagine that ultimately they could work towards a contract negotiation. but we'll see. Niners Pride on Instagram asked me who will have a better season, Debo or Ayuk. Well, I said Ayuk last year was probably might have had the better season statistically than Debo last year, but that proved to be incredibly wrong because Debo just exploded onto the scene, and we understand that Ayuk kind of took a step back, but was able to get it back throughout the year. I imagine with the new quarterback that is Trey Lance. Again, some of the things that I've talked about, his ability to spread the ball further and push it downfield, and again, Brandon Ayuk being really a deep threat. I think there's a real opportunity that Ayuk could mirror Debo's production. I feel after last year, I don't feel I don't feel comfortable saying that Brandon Ayuk is just going to have a better year than Debo. But I do think that this year it's much more likely that there's more of a mirroring of production opposed to last year where Debo went crazy. Debo just blew the top off the league. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. It's going to be interesting to see. I can't wait for all of it to play out. Some of these questions, man. Someone asked on Instagram, do you think of Danny Gray? What do you think of Danny Gray? Is he staying with the 86? I think so. I think Danny Gray's staying with the 86. I think Danny Gray's staying with the 86. I think he would have an opportunity to switch it up already if he wanted to. But I would assume he's staying with the 86. I think the 49ers took team photos yesterday. And or today they started taking their photos. So I think he's still wearing 86. I would imagine he stays in 86. And he can bring some relevance to that number. I think the last real relevant 49er to wear that was our long snapper. Why am I blanking on his name? Brian Jennings. Good old Brian Jennings, number 86. He was one of our most tenured 49ers there for a second. But that's who I think of. I know River Craycraft wore 86 for a hot second. Uh, but Cap wants Danny to wear number 10. I don't think number 10's up for grabs yet. I don't think number 10's up for grabs quite yet. Do you guys remember when Kendrick Bourne was 10 for about 2 minutes? KB was rocking number 10 for a little bit for like about 30 minutes. And then he went from 6 to 10 to 84, right? So hey, it happens. Players change numbers all the time. So fun stuff, man. Do you expect an impact from Jason Verrett this season? I think if he's healthy, of course, everything is prefaced around if he's healthy with Jason Verrett, but we understand who Jason Verrett is and why he's such a special player. He's just, obviously had bad luck in the injury category, but that's a Pro Bowl talent. That's an all pro talent. Jason Verrett is that dude. He's that guy. So if he can just get right, then yes, I think he will have an impact. We've seen him come back. That gives me a lot of faith. In regards to Jason Verrett. I think his ability to prove, he had I think he was down 2017, 18, and 19. I think he was damn near injured for 3 seasons in a row. I might be speaking incorrectly there. But then for him to come back in 2020 and then put up an all pro, not an all pro, but a Pro Bowl caliber year. Um, just locking down DeAndre Hopkins, locking down whoever, um, proved to me that he can come back and be a factor if he's healthy. But again, we understand if he can stay right, then absolutely Jason Barrett will be a factor. I'm really looking forward to that because the Fever is legendary. It's one of my favorite players. Draft crush from back in the TCU days, back when he was a Charger. He was one of the reasons why, like, I used to call the Chargers my second team. Jason Verrett, Keenan Allen, Antonio Gates. They had all the dogs back then. Like what, Vincent Jackson, even. Like they had a lot of good players that I really liked and respected. Niner by Nature says, "Who starts at center? Who starts at center?" Before I answer, I want to ask you guys in the chat, get you guys a little bit revved up and involved here. Is it going to be a free agent signing? Are they kicking Brunskill down from guard to center? Is it going to be West? Is it going to be Poe? Is it going to be Brendel? Is it going to be Sutherland? Who's it going to be at center? I want to see what you guys are thinking first. So far, we've got Joey Nichols says Brendel. JC Treader. Someone said Brad starts week 1. I'm for it. Put me in, coach. Someone give Shanny my number. I see a Danny, JC, West. Let's see what else we got. I see a JC Treader from Jonah. Sargent says West. Niner by Nature says Brunny. Treader, West, Poe. Gmo says, I want West to be that guy, but I bet it's Brunny. I kind of feel like it's Brunny too. And you guys know me. I'm the leader of the Brunskill Hive, so that's good for me. Cap says he wants to see the 49ers go get Treader. Again, JC Treader is still available. He's still out there. 49ers media says Brendel. You can't sleep on Brendel. Brendel was able to win a camp competition last year. If you guys remember, I did an Instagram live with Dakota Shepley, who I thought was a promising developing prospect coming from the Canadian League. And they were battling it out for that backup center position, and Brendel ultimately won. And then the Seattle Seahawks added Dakota Shepley to their active roster last year and then re-signed him this year. Niner by Nature, he's going. Trent Williams at left tackle, Banks at left guard, Brunskill at center, Burford at right guard, McGlinchey at tackle. I actually don't mind this. If I had to make a change, I would make one change from this offensive line. I would have it as Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Brunskill at center, and I would probably put Colton McKivitz at right guard. I feel pretty confident with McKivitz after last year, what he was able to do. Again, I talk about it all the time. He ultimately kind of jumped Jaylen Moore to be able to take over that left tackle spot when Trent Williams couldn't go with the high ankle sprain week 18 against the Rams. Must-win game, had to get it in order to get into the playoffs. Colton McKivitz, man, really, really showed me a lot. Colton McKivitz, man, really showed me a lot. And he's a natural guard, and he was able to go out there and do a lot of stuff with going up against Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, in a must-win game, held his own out there. So I kind of think Colton McKivitz might have a chance at right guard. Jaylen Moore has an opportunity to play right guard as well. Um, I mean, again, the last time I saw Jaylen Moore, he struggled quite a bit against the Jags, and now they've switched his position altogether. So I wouldn't say that's a confidence booster necessarily for me. Again, you're not counting Jaylen Moore out at all. I think Jaylen Moore, again, I've talked about it. I really like him in regards to his foot speed, the way he can move for his size. Again, we just saw the transition go from looking really good to start, and then by the end of the year, he ultimately got jumped by Colton McKivitz, who's a guard. So, for me personally, I'm just reading the tea leaves, just reading what based on the tape that I've watched, based on just kind of reading that situation. Uh, I don't feel like him moving to guard is necessarily a vote of confidence, but we'll see. We'll see. That's why I can't wait to get to training camp. Can't wait to see the pads get on because I'm going to be all over that offensive line. That offensive line is, I think we're okay, man. I think we're okay. Someone said, "What's up with Debo?" and someone else said, "What's up with this story?" I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I popped over, I looked. I couldn't tell. I saw a Modern Warfare clip. Uh and I don't know what this video is that he's showing. I don't see anything I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. Uh but overall, I'm pretty excited, man. I think the offensive line, it would have been better if we had Alex Mack at center. I think that would have just it would have been a little bit more consistency. It would have been his year two with this group. I would imagine they would even take a step forward. Even having to go from Lake and Tomlinson to Aaron Banks, but I still think we have guys on the roster. I think the 49ers, they opted to go for Burford, who's a left tackle, might be transitioning to guard. They also went with Nick Zakel, who I like a lot, who was a left tackle, but profiles almost best to center. I mean, Nick Zakel, when I look at Nick Zakel, he looks like Brunskill 2.0 to me when I look at him and watch his tape. So I I like Brunskill a lot, and I see a lot of similarities with Nick Zakel. Um, in regards to just a comparison situation. Niner by Nature says Justin School is more of a tackle, correct? I would call him more of a tackle. I think he can play guard. I think he can. I think he can be interchangeable. I'd feel more comfortable with Justin School at guard. I feel like, again, he is a natural tackle. He's comfortable playing out in space, good pass set technique, ability to kind of play on that island with edge rushers. Again, when you kick a tackle inside, you're kind of taking that away. They have to play more in a short area, more in a phone booth, opposed to playing out in space. So ultimately, that's again one of my why I didn't want necessarily Jaylen Moore to go inside, because I thought Jaylen Moore had a natural kick step and was really good at being able to pass set and things like that. So the fact that they've kind of put him inside, it kind of, I look at it as they have to move him inside more necessarily than, I don't know, wanting to. But we'll find out. That's what training camp's for. That's what training camp's for. Once the pads come out, start popping a little bit, we're gonna see it. Zakel's measurables. Off the top of my head, I think he's like 6'6", 315. But that's straight off the dome. I can double check really quickly. But I think he reminds me of Brunskill. I think him and Brunskill are pretty similar in size. Uh, but let me try and confirm that here if I can. Nick Sigel, rookie 6th round pick out of Fordham. Really good movement ability, really good bend in his hips. Allows him to play with good leverage. Let's see. Nick Sigel is 6'5", 216. So I was close. I was 1 pound off, and I guess 1 inch too far. But at least the 49ers have him listed at 6'5", 316. But he has movement skills that can translate to playing center or guard. So I'm excited, man. Someone said, should they have traded up for Juergens? Hendrick said, should they have traded up for Juergens? I don't know. I don't know if they should have traded up. It would have been great if Juergens fell. I love Juergens personally. He was my, I think, top center prospect, outside of Zion Johnson and Lindstrom. But once you got past those two guys, Juergens was my dude. I really wanted the 49ers to go after him, especially with this particular situation going on with the center. We didn't really know. We didn't really know what was going to go on. So ultimately, hey, we're gonna watch it play out, and I can't wait to watch it play out. So for the most part, pretty excited about it. Someone Niner by Nature says wasn't Fortner available, but to be honest, Fortner didn't have great movement ability. Like I know a lot of people liked Luke Fortner. I think out of Kentucky. Uh, I thought he was serviceable. I thought he was good, but when it came to traits from Fortner, he's very stiff. He didn't move like ultra well. And I think I've made it crystal clear when I'm evaluating offensive line, I'm very particular about my offensive linemen. I want them to be able to move with fluidity. You look at Burford, you look at Zagel, you look at West, you look at Poe, you look at Schluter, you look at all these offensive linemen that they brought in. They all can move. Not saying that Fortner can't. He reminds me more of a power style kind of gap scheme center. Um, I didn't think Fortner was necessarily a great fit for the 49ers, just again, based on how I perceived them to want to fit offensive linemen into their group. Not to say that he couldn't, but he wasn't my necessarily cup of tea. Um, but I'm interested. I'm interested to see how they use Jason Poe. I have this. I've been thinking about like this idea of like Jason Poe being like an H back for the 49ers. Them using him pulling across the formation. Oh hell yeah, we're lit about the game tonight. I can't wait. Game 1. We're turning up. Go Warriors. I'm pretty excited about it. Brad Poe for center. uh, but I think, I think some of the conversations that you saw from some people on Twitter, uh, West at center, what do I say? I mean, again, I always try to hold proclamations of evaluation until I see it. You guys know Donovan West was a draft crush. He was a guy that I really liked. And if the 49ers drafted uh, Donovan West at pick 93, if the 49ers drafted Donovan West at pick 105, I would have gave it an A. I would have gave it an A grade. I would have been like, oh, the 49ers just grabbed the next starting center. But he went undrafted. They got him. They actually gave him a solid contract to kind of prove, I think, to him that they value him. Um, so I just want to see it now. I saw it in college. I saw, I did a lot of study on Donovan West. Um, he was a guy that I was very high on. Did a lot of tape work. Here's some of my notes on Donovan West from the tape work. I did that before the combine. That was before the combine. And you can even see it says draft crush. I made it known. Draft crush. So I like Donovan West. I really, really do. But I just want to see it. Just want to see it first. I want to see it in training camp. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what happens when those pads start popping. That's what I'm looking for. Yes, very sloppy riding. Yes, 100%. Not the best. I'm a visual human being, so it works out to our benefit. Brendel could be that guy. He could. I've seen Brendel too, and he's been working. He's been getting after it this offseason. I think he knows what opportunity that he has in front of him. So Brendel could come out in training camp and take it to another level. So who knows? Who knows? That's why we can speculate up until this point. Same thing like Jaylen Moore. Like, I don't have the most glowing, like thoughts right now just because of how the season ended for Jaylen Moore. But that doesn't mean we get into training camp and all of a sudden Jalen's put in the work. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. That actual kick inside to right guard actually benefits him more than I anticipated. That could happen 100%. So until we see it, it's just going to be a lot of guessing at this point. But if I had to guess right now, the 49ers offensive line would look like Trent Williams at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard, Daniel Brunskill at center, and Colton McKivitz at right guard, and then Mike McGlinchey at right tackle. So if it was up to me with the limited access that I have to watching it, what they do in practice and stuff like that, that's kind of what my starting O-line would look like, at least right now on paper. But again, that could change quickly once we get into training camp. Someone said, let's go get Brian Burns for center. That would not be good for us. If we put Brian Burns at center, probably get sacked a lot. Probably don't want that. But ultimately, obviously, the offensive line talk is going to be the offensive line talk is. I'm happy. I get it. It sucks. You guys know I really loved Alex Mack. I love the addition of Alex Mack. Fun little thing about me. When I have players that I interview or I talk to players that I interview, I think last person I asked this was Javon Kinlaw. I asked Javon Kinlaw, I was like, who were some players that you watched and studied? Because you pull from other players' games. Like you see how this guy does this. You're like, oh, maybe I can incorporate that into my game. So I asked Javon Kinlaw, I'm like, who did you watch? He's like, I watched Sue. I watch Jeffrey Simmons. I watch this guy and that guy. Well, a guy that I watched when I played was Alex Mack, and I loved Alex Mack when he was at Cal. So, it's bittersweet. I think I've been rocking with Alex since he was at Cal, uh, tearing up shop with Javid Best running the rock behind him. I think Keenan Allen was on that team too. Was that the team he had Keenan Allen? I think there's a lot. I think CJ Anderson was on that team. That Cal team was stacked. That Cal, I think that was. He might have been, or it might have been a little bit earlier. Um, but yeah, stinks to see Alex Mack go, but one of my favorite players. Oh, that's right. Javid got drafted by the Detroit Lions. Yeah, dude. Javid Best was one of my favorite players all time. Like if you like that Cal team, I've so many of those players on that particular Cal team that had Javid, that had Alex Mack, that had Keenan Allen. Like those are some of my favorite players still in the league now. That Cal team was stacked, man. That Cal team was absolutely stacked. Back in the good old days when Cal was good at football. No shade meant by that. uh, okay, well, let's try a little exercise. Now that we're kind of seeing how the team is shaped up until this point, obviously Alex Mack retires. What do you guys think the record prediction is going to look like? What do you think the record prediction is going to look like? Do you think that it's going to be any? Does Alex Mack retiring change the amount of games that they win? Does Alex Mack retiring have an impact on the overall record? Interesting to see what you guys think about that. We got 11 and 6, 13 and 4, 13 and 4 by Niner in nature, 11 and 6, 11 and 6, or I think you meant 10 and 7. I feel like 11 and 6 feels safe. 11 and 6 feels safe. You got a rookie not a rookie. We keep calling him a rookie quarterback. Feels like a rookie quarterback. 10 and 7 does seem appropriate. I think 10 and 7. I think San Francisco 49ers have signed all their draft picks. Let's go. So that just came in from the 49ers just now. It looks like the San Francisco 49ers have signed uh, every one of their rookies. That which kind of unprecedented. They wait sometimes to sign, but it looks like the 49ers have signed Spencer Burford, Tariq Castro Fields, Kalia Davis, Ty Davis Price, Danny Gray, Drake Jackson, Brock Purdy, Samuel Womack, and Nick Zakel have all signed. Official, like a referee with the whistle. It is done. All right, we got some movement today. The 49ers lock up their entire draft class. You'll love to see it. So the entire draft class gets locked up. All these rookies get signed. You'll love to see it. I'm going to get off on Instagram so I could post. If you guys want to hop over to YouTube, we're still over there, but I'm going to post over here. All right, discard. All right, we got some signings. Let's go. We got some moves. Big movement. Love to see it. So that's a sign in the positive direction. Got all the rookies under contract. All the undrafted free agents have been signed. Now, just got to figure out what's going on with Debo. Got to figure out what's going on with Nick Bosa. Do you think Nick Bosa is an under-discussed topic? Or do you guys think that Nick Bosa gets paid? I would have to imagine Nick Bosa is not going to play football on his rookie deal. But again, he's kind of, well, what is Nick Bosa's situation like? I mean, he technically the 49ers could pick up his 5th-year option. So it's going to be interesting, but I would imagine Nick Bosa has clearly outperformed his rookie deal. So wonder if Nick Bosa is going to sign anytime soon. Let's see. All right, hold on. I'm going to get this post out. But hey, let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this. Got a post at the same time. All right. So who is your guys' favorite draft pick out of this situation? Who do you think is going to who's going to show out the best as a rookie? Drake Jackson, Danny Gray. Who's it gonna be? Who is it going? Hold on. Let me get this post out. Get the post out.
Yo, man, how you feeling?
All right. Let's go. All right. Draft class has been taken care of. It's a good sign for the 49ers. Got that out the way. Don't got to deal with that anymore. Let's go. All right. Womack and O'Neal. Danny Gray, TDP. Drake Jackson. Danny Phantom. Oh, yeah. So I think I'm gonna have Jack Hammer on the show on after the next OTAs. So keep an eye out for that. Also think I'm going to have Larry Kruger on tomorrow. Larry was at OTAs earlier this week. So going to chop it up with Larry Kruger about OTAs, what he saw from OTAs. Also going to talk to Jack Hammer on the opposite side of OTAs the following week. So looking forward to that. Excited to get their insight on what they've seen at OTAs up until this point. And yes, Jordan Mason has been a point of emphasis, not only, um, you know, for Jackhammer and those guys, but also the running back coach Anthony Lynn has talked highly about him. So I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited about that. I think it's going to be pretty hype. Think it's going to be pretty hype. Gonna be hyped up. Gonna be sick. Can't wait. Ooh. We might have to do a dark horse episode. Also might have to do yeah, we're gonna have to do some specific type of projection episodes where we all throw out our bold takes, all that good stuff. But today is ultimately a very busy day. Very busy day. Whole lots of stuff going down. Whole lots of stuff going down. Gotta love it. All right. I got all my posts out, I think. Got all my posts out, I think. All right. Whew. Ooh, I like this one. Make sure you hit a Ballers YouTube page too. I know. I think I'm pretty sure you're grinding out content too, my boy. Make sure you show him some love. Go check out his channel. He says two breakout players are Ray McLeod and Kevin Givens. I think Kevin Givens is going to take a big step forward. I think Ray McLeod is going to be leaned on heavily too. I think in a return, as a return specialist, as a guy who's going to be, I think could take over that wide back role, especially if Deebo Samuel shows up and doesn't want to play it anymore. I think Ray McLeod is going to be that guy to fill that role. Jordan Mason, we already know the Jordan Mason hive is buzzing right now. So we see that for sure. Let's see. Ward Bros, Charvarius, also Jimmy. I'm pretty hyped on Hufanga. And I feel good because it was a feeling that I had. Like there wasn't like anything that was like that like stood out to me. That was like, oh, I got this piece of information and I just feel like Hufanga is going to take that step forward. It was like a literal like gut feeling that like Hufanga was going to take this step forward. And I've talked about it a lot on here of just talking about like, you know, I had to check, I have to remind myself that these guys are rookies and that they are going to ultimately get better. And if Hufanga can take his rookie season and get better off of that, then that is going to be a good situation. And everything that we've heard, he's more confident, he's moving faster, he's bigger, he's twitchier. Like It's gonna be nice. I'm pretty excited about it, man. Pretty excited about it. Elijah Mitchell will win the rushing title. Ooh, let's go. Let's go. Let's see here. So I got a bit of an announcement, but I honestly don't really know how it works. So I think right now I now have it set up where you can be a member, like a true member of the SDS. I think we have like 3 different membership programs. Do you guys see that anywhere? Again, I've never done it before. So trying to get the SDS all set up so we can do call-ins. Want to make sure that we're doing call-ins with members of the SDS. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing that. So I did set up a little bit of a membership program um, where if you purchase, one of those, uh, it should say join button. Do you see that anywhere? I don't know if I don't know if mine's like that, but again, I'll do an official announcement once I got it all squared away. But that's where we are headed. We are headed toward, yeah, I don't think it's showing yet. Yeah, so you don't see it. No one sees it. So just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. If you want to be an official SDS member. Again, all you got to do to be in the SDS, you just gotta subscribe, and you gotta bring the hype. But so it just got set up, so it might take a while. But I just want to make sure. But that's how we're gonna start doing call-in shows. It's gonna be member-only call-in shows. So that's gonna be how we kind of get access to, because I know there's been issues with other guys in the past where people have come on doing crazy things, and I don't want to do that. So I want to make sure everyone that we bring in on the call-in shows rocking with the squad. So that should be coming soon. Also, should have merch coming soon. Official SDS merch headed is very close. We're going to do an official launch of that. So I'm excited. Going to get the memberships rolling. We're going to be able to get the SDS merch rolling. I think they're going to be like weird emojis of my face. So that's exciting. But I'll let you guys know when it's all set up. We'll do official announcement, official hype, all that good stuff. But again, appreciate all you guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Today was a crazy day. Just to kind of recap some of the things that have went on. We got the Alex Mack retirement. We got Frank Gore officially retiring with the San Francisco 49ers, going into the 49ers Hall of Fame. All 9 of the 49ers draft picks have been signed. So all draft picks are under contract. Per John Lynch yesterday, Deebo Samuel's coming back. So hey man, we're coming. Does it smell like mayonnaise in here? I think it smells like mayonnaise in here. Oh, it's red eye. Sorry, I didn't see you, red eye. I just smelt you. Shout out red eye. I thought I smelt that distinct smell of mayonnaise, and I was like, it's red eye. Red eye's in here. That's what it was. Good stuff. If you know, you know. It's one of those things. If you know, you know. So I appreciate you guys. A lot of stuff going on in the 49ers universe. Media will be back at OTAs next week. So we'll have more coverage next week, practices and things like that. So we'll get into it. But in the meantime, I appreciate all you guys tapping in. And hey, we got Warriors tonight. Who's winning tonight? Who is winning tonight? The Warriors taking it. What do you think? We gotta poll the chat really quickly before we head out. Is it gonna be Warriors? Is it gonna be Warriors or is it going to be Celtics? You know it's gonna be Warriors. You know it's gonna be Warriors. I just have to keep it give them an opportunity. You know it's gonna be Warriors. Let's go. Super excited. Ready to do it. Did Red Eye get bounced? Anyways, appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. Justin says I don't speak basketball. Hey, watch tonight. Watch the Warriors dismantle the Celtics. It's gonna be fun. Appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, Larry Kruger on tomorrow. So he'll guess what, Justin? We brought Larry on just to talk about Jordan Mason. So you better be tuned in. You better be hyped up and ready to go. Again, Larry Kruger will be joining us tomorrow, probably around 1:30. So keep an eye out for that. Again, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Hit the like and then hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future lives. So until then, thank you guys all for tapping in. I'm out of here. Peace.